Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents. Um, it is after 9. I don't know what time it is actually. 9:20 in the evening. I am getting ready to call it a day, a night, a weekend, siesta, whatever it is. I'm calling it. I have been on a tear since January 1st. Not because I'm running out of time or anything, but because that's what you're getting is a glimpse of what I go through every day, the thought process. Literally, I could do videos every day talking about different subjects. Now, I just had somebody accuse me of doing that today. Says that I'm all over the place talking about so many different things because there's so much information. There is so many different things. But the problem is, you guys, when you're listening to me, you don't hear me talking about things I don't know about. You don't hear me guessing about anything. You hear me showing you what I'm talking about, taking you right to the location, not having to think about it, but to take you there. Now, some people say, well, such and such, that's their videos this way. I don't care about such and such, such and such. Let such and stuff go kick it with H&R. Oh, I'm sorry. Some of you are not old enough to remember HR Puff and stuff. Okay. I like the HR Puff and stuff. Don't you dare talk about HR. Don't you, shut up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is exhausting because this is not all that I do. Okay. For instance, I told people, and if you look at the news, go and look at the news. There are several laws that have been passed that most people are not even aware of, especially dealing with corporations. They're getting ready to get rid of all gig workers. You're not going to be able to be a gig worker anymore, not like they used to be, where you could be a subcontractor, where you go work for Uber and all of that. No, no, no. They're making Uber and all of them have employees. The IRS is requiring that. Now, this is another way for the government to keep track on everybody because they know in order for you guys to have those gig jobs, the gig jobs you guys are getting paid underneath the table. Well, they now want them to no longer have subcontractors. They want them to have employees. They want them to pay them salaries, wages, and health benefits and workman's comp benefits. They're going to price the small businesses out of business. And for the ones that continue in business, they're going to get fined a whole lot. They're going to get fined a whole lot. March 15th is the official opening of Datamass. No, this video wasn't supposed to be for Datamass. This is just supposed to be for me to express that it has been a lot of work. Especially got one more video for the empowerment series. And then that will be it for that series. And just something realized that people needed the information. They needed to be able to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. No, you can't tell me what the law is. I know what the law is. I've studied this. You haven't studied this. You can't tell me nothing about this. This is what I know. That's what we're doing for people. Datamass, the only company actively and advertisingly helping individuals document their tax credits, their deductions, and their write off net operating losses. Go ahead. See if you can find a CPA. They're going to start doing it now. I promise you they're going to start doing it now. So you can thank Datamass for that. These other companies are going to start doing it because they're going to see that finally somebody was willing to step up and do it for people. See, before you couldn't do it, so that means you didn't get nothing done. I just had a person on TikTok. I forgot, I don't know the name of the channel, but he was talking about how 10% of all taxpayers don't receive their refund. 10%. You know it's more than 10%. We know it's at least 40 to 50% of people who pay taxes don't receive a refund or receive a lot less than they were supposed to get. And they don't have any options because the IRS won't talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. Don't worry that the IRS is not doing this or doing that. Look, every time the IRS charges you a fee, then you write it off as a business expense. Like the people who they're getting ready to start charging because they're not going to comply with these new laws that are so restrictive for businesses. Now, look, business Fisher versus Redfield, Redfield versus Fisher, 1930. Look it up. Redfield versus Fisher, Washington State. It's a Washington State Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court said The corporation is a creature of the state, owing its existence and chartered power to the state. Corporations only exist because the state controls it, the state regulates it, the state creates it. You don't create a corporation, the state does. I know. You thought you did. You thought that you put the officers. No, you have to petition the state to do that. So the state creates the corporation, and it tells the corporation what it can do and what it cannot do. So if you ever go to jail, watch your. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's what the state does. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're required to pay your taxes, pay your taxes. But what we're trying to tell you is if you learn how to write off that junk that you should be writing off that you haven't been writing off, you would not want to not pay taxes because the tax credits will absorb all the taxes you're supposed to pay. And because it absorbed the taxes you're supposed to pay, if you study the law, you'll see you're supposed to get a refund for the amount you were supposed to pay that the tax credits paid for you. But of course, you're not going to do the research. Let me say that again because it didn't sound like English the first time. Of course, you're not going to do the research. Of course not. I know you're not going to do the research. You know you're not going to do the research. So, of course, you're not going to do the research because that's just the way it is. I don't know why you're not going to do the research. You should do the research, but you're not going to. You're not going to prove to yourself the information that I'm saying. You should be proving to yourself the information that I'm saying. You should be, but you're not going to. No. When they start charging these corporations, when they start charging you, those of you who are running your own little business, side business, small business, they're gonna leave sole proprietorships alone. So most of you, when we tell you you need to be operating as a sole proprietorship, and look, you can operate as a sole proprietorship and as a contractor for a business at the same time. See, that's gonna be the in and around, go around. I promise you. Don't take my word for it. Just wait and see. But that's not the only thing they're going to start charging companies. Now, every company has to register. Every company has to register. They will have to register with the Treasury's Enforcement Department. It's that corporate liability, corporate accountability program. It's just another way for them to document everybody is everybody, who's everybody, when everybody is going to be everybody, why everybody is everybody, and so forth. That's all it's for. It's a tracking system. Now, when you don't comply with this system, when you don't follow the rules, apparently they're supposed to be charging upwards of $500. $500 a day. At least that's the rumor. And you have to, if you have a business that just started in 2024, you got 90 days to register. If you have a business that was prior to 2024, you have until the 31st of December. Now, there are going to be a lot of challenges to that law, so just sit back. Both of them. There's going to be a lot of challenges to both of them. It's going to go through the courts. Supreme Court's going to weigh in, and they're going to say Congress has the right to do it because Congress has the right to regulate commerce. Promise you. And that the corporation doesn't have any rights when it comes to this because they are abiding by what the courts say, what the Treasury says, what the IRS says. It's an administrative agency. Corporations are administrative people, must comply with the Administrative Procedures Act. That's all it is to it. And that's what the Supreme Court is going to decide. They may give a small victory, but it will only be small for certain people. Okay? But Datamass, when they start charging all of these fees and charging all these corporations, that's what Datamass is for. See, Datamass did you a favor before it even happened. Look, all of the companies we run, we make sure that we write off everything. We don't leave nothing not to be written off. Sorry, we're going to take advantage of the law. We're going to follow the law, but we're going to take full advantage of it. We're not going to disobey the law. We're not going to ignore the law. We're not going to fabricate anything. There's no reason to. Ladies and gentlemen, if you write off your credits, if you write off your debts, your deductions, your expenses, if you write that junk off and you do it right, then you don't have to worry about paying taxes ever again. The best business model anybody could ever have is to valuate their services and then discount it. Discount it to the barest baddest, to the bone baddest discount. Okay, why? Because now that you've discounted it, the amount that you discount it, you get to write off as a business loss, business expense. And what did you discount it for? You discounted it for the poor people, the people who can't afford anything, because you're helping out the community. You're helping out the individuals who are impoverished. It's okay to call them that because that's what they are. The government, the system keeps them impoverished. So you're there to help them out. Imagine that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Datamass is not there to do your taxes. We have a situation where I have to respond to a person, letting them know they sent all of their tax paperwork. No, Datamass is not operating as your tax agent. Datamass is only documenting things. That's why they're called data mass. They're data masters. And that's why they're called that. They're just inputting the data you give them. They're not doing your taxes for you. So how does that work? Well, you get your taxes done by your regular tax preparer, but I'm gonna tell you, don't ask them to do it because then you won't get it done. Okay? Get your taxes done and then tell the tax preparer you're gonna send it in. Now if they insist that they want to send it in and blah blah blah, then you tell them no. Tell them I have the right to send it in after you've done it. You don't have to sign it. You see, you can only sign it if I gave you permission. I'm not giving you permission to send that in for me. I'm gonna send it in myself. Then you give it to Datamass. Datamass takes and inputs the information you give them and adds it up for you and sends it back to you. So now you have the math, the numbers are in the right place, and there you go. The forms, the correct forms for it, are filled out, and ta-da! And now you have your taxes done. Now, of course, the system is not going to like this because this is a whew, stab in the eye, hit across the chin with the cane. They can't handle that. That's too much pain. And that's okay because the idea is as long as you get it documented, ladies and gentlemen, then when you file on the state level, now Datamass won't be filing your state taxes, only federal. Datamass won't be filing your state taxes. You'll have to get that done. But however, when you file your federal taxes, you send some of them credits on the state level. Pay off that state's junk, like child support and, that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's going on 10 o'clock. I've been up since 5:40, and it really has been a long Tuesday, including the consult that was 3 hours long. But it was actually a pretty good consult. I actually liked it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a good day. I hope this information is beneficial. You know what? I sorry y'all had the long view. I forgot to do it this way. I apologize. Y'all should have been having this view because I hate that long view when watching videos. I'd rather see the full screen. So I apologize for that, y'all. I'm tired, all right? Gotta go. Hey, take care of yourselves.